They did not call him Jesus. Not in the streets, not in the synagogue, not in his mother's arms. Thank you very much for your support, and I promise you more hidden knowledge that is unauthorized, which exposes a lot. Just be ready. You can fact-check these information from sources and ancient texts. These are from such hidden books, not a claim of personal revelation.
His name is Yehoshua.
The child born in Judea was named Yeshua, a shortened form of Yehoshua, a Hebrew name meaning Yah saves. His title was Hamashiach, the Anointed One. This was the language of his world, Hebrew for prayer, Aramaic for daily life. Greek was the language of traders, soldiers, and empires, not the language of fishermen from Galilee. So when the story says an angel appeared to Mary, whatever one believes about angels, the message was spoken in a way she understood.
You shall give birth to a son and shall call his name Yehoshua.
Language is always chosen for the listener, not the speaker. That matters more than people are taught to notice. And this is where the shadow enters. As the story of Yeshua moved out of Judea and into empire, something had to change. The Roman world did not speak Hebrew. The scriptures were translated into Greek, not rewritten word for word, but reshaped to survive inside power. Names do not travel cleanly across empires. They are bent, smoothed, recast.
What will be the she and in Yehoshua? Remove the she and call it Isus.
Yeshua became Jesus in Greek, not because it meant the same thing, but because Greek had no sh sound.
Also change the Hamashiach to Christos. That language is for slaves, not empires.
Hamashiach became Christos, a Greek word meaning anointed, not a name anymore, a title. Already something subtle had happened. A living Hebrew name had become a formal Greek idea, then Greek became Latin.
Change the Isus to Isus, at least we have upgraded.
Jesus became Jesus. Centuries later, the letter J was created in European languages.
The reign of Greek and Latin is over. I and E looks funny in a word. Use J, Jesus.
Jesus became Jesus. Not through one secret meeting, not through one emperor, but through layers of translation, authority, and distance. That is the official story. But here is why people still feel uneasy. Because names carry identity, and identity carries authority. When the Roman Empire adopted Christianity, it did not adopt it as a question. It adopted it as a structure. Councils were formed, texts were chosen, others were rejected. Writings that spoke of hidden knowledge, inner awakening, and a God beyond rulers and thrones, Gnostic texts, were pushed aside, not burned all at once, just excluded, until silence did the work. In those suppressed texts, Jesus does not sound like an emperor's son. He speaks in riddles, in paradox, in words people cannot understand because they are not meant for crowds.
My kingdom is not of this world, and even your God cannot comprehend.
He speaks of a kingdom not of this world, and in Gnostic thought, that is not poetry. It is a warning. Some Gnostic writers said the world itself is ruled by a false authority, a demiurge, a power that claims to be God but is not the source. In that worldview, Jesus does not come from the ruler of this world. He comes to expose it. That idea alone was dangerous enough to be buried. Now about the claim that Jesus means son of Zeus. This is where darkness and confusion mix. Historically, scholars say Jesus is a Greek transliteration of Yeshua, not a direct reference to Zeus. There is no academic proof that it literally means son of Zeus. But here is what matters. The Roman world already believed in sons of gods. Greek culture had always known divine sons. Zeus did not rule alone. He ruled through offspring, Perseus, Heracles, Apollo. Stories of a coming son who would challenge order, save humanity, or restore balance were everywhere. So when a foreign savior enters the empire, born of divine origin, misunderstood, executed by power, then exalted, the Roman mind does not hear a Hebrew teacher. It hears a familiar myth wearing a new name. The idea that Io means son and Zeus means Zeus, forming Iosis, Iesaus, does not come from ancient Greek grammar books. It comes from later esoteric speculation, polemical writings, and Gnostic-influenced critiques of Roman Christianity. Io in mythology was a priestess transformed into a cow. Zeus was Zeus. The connection is symbolic, not linguistic, but symbols are more powerful than grammar. That is how the claim survives, not because it is proven, but because it fits the pattern. And patterns are dangerous. Look at culture. Hollywood did not invent these stories. It inherited them. In Clash of the Titans, a son of Zeus walks among humans, torn between heaven and earth. In Immortals, prophecy, rebellion, gods, and sacrifice blur together. In countless films about Zeus and his sons, the same structure repeats. A divine father, a chosen son, a hostile world, a destiny written before birth. Even when the name is not Jesus, the role is the same, a son of heaven. Rejected by rulers, caught between worlds, meant to restore order. The unsettling question is not, did Hollywood copy Jesus? It is, did empire reshape Jesus into something Hollywood already understood? No single emperor ever said, change Yeshua to Jesus. That idea is too simple, too human. What happened was quieter. And worse, the name changed through translation, and translation was controlled by authority, Hebrew to Greek, Greek to Latin, Latin to Europe. By the time councils like Nicaea defined doctrine in the 4th century, the Hebrew world of Jesus was already far away. What remained was a Greek philosophical Christ, compatible with hierarchy, law, empire, and divine kingship. Texts that challenged this version were labeled heretical, hidden, lost, until jars were found in the desert centuries later. Nag Hammadi did not create fear, it exposed it. So here is the truth, without comfort. There is no academically accepted proof that Isis literally means son of Zeus, but there is overwhelming evidence that Jesus was absorbed into a world that already worshipped sons of gods. And once that happens, the story no longer belongs to the man from Galilee. It belongs to power. That is why this knowledge feels unauthorized, not because it is false, but because it reminds you that history is not only written by victors, it is translated by them, and translation decides what survives and what is forgotten.